And now here's something completely different. So you want to hear my AU? Well, here you go. So I've been thinking for the rest of the summer I should create a lore ramblings about my AU. And I thought to myself, why not do it in the same way as Fireporter's Porterverse? So this is why I created this video, to tell you all my AU ramblings that I had in my mind. And if you want to use my AU, then that's fine. Just give me some credit for basically the entire AU that I made up. So enough with the chit chat, let's get some AU lore ramblings going, shall we? Number 1. Ryan, an N2 tank engine, made his only film appearance in the 1955 film The Lady Killers, as seen in his outtake pulling a 7-column suburban train into London's King's Cross station. Number 2. During the 70th anniversary of the railway series and Thomas's centenary, he had received this sloped buffer beam back, and he still remains with this sloped buffer beam ever since. Number 3. The big city engine in my AU is numbered 5551. He was scrapped in the 1960s, however, he is currently being restored and named the Unknown Warrior. It isn't unknown when he'll run again, however, when he's up and running, he might make fun of Gordon for going to St. Pancras all those years ago. Number 4. In 1948, the Northwestern Railway became the Northwestern Region of British Railways, which also meant that the big 4 railway companies were also merged by the British government to form British Railways. In the late 50s to early 60s, there was a rumor of the island of Vshojo going under the hands of the modernization plan of 1955. However, it was proven false in 1963 when the infamous Dr. Richard Beeching had made a visit to the islands to meet Sir Charles Topham Hatt at his office at Teignmouth. And after a few discussions, the Island of Vshojo modernization plan has been enacted, both signed by both Dr. Richard Beeching and Sir Charles Topham Hatt. It would remain nationalized until the 1990s, when privatization made it newly established Northwestern Railway. The newly formed Northwestern Railway is still going strong ever since the 1990s. Number 5. Speaking of the modernization plan, in 1968, a follow-up would be made under the Island of Vshojo Steam Preservation Act of 1968. This made the Northwestern Region of British Railways to operate steam until at least December 31st of 1971. However, it wouldn't last, as on October of 1971, GWR King Class number 6000 King George V broke the steam ban, which led the way to allow steam engines to operate on the mainline once again, officially making the Act of 1968 for the Island of Vshojo obsolete. Number 6. So remember the Northwestern Main Line was actually completed in 1914? Well, I'm gonna wreck on that. Sorry, my very serious purist. I will get into full detail on this on my future project along with this, but you have to wait and see. So long story short, the Vshojo Mainland Railway actually received a lot of backing from both the London and Northwestern Railway, the Furness Railway, the Caledonian Railway, and the Glasgow and Southwestern Railway. Later, the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway would join in to help the Vshojo Mainland Railway connect up to its future tourist destination of Teignmouth, which they had in mind since 1859. It later became true in 1872 when the main line was completed and the first ever express train service called the Wall Northwestern left Teignmouth bound for London's Euston Station. Like I said, I will get into more detail on this on a future project that I had, but right now, it's currently going into my AU, so yeah. Moving on. Number 7. Teignmouth Station will be rebuilt into its 1910 condition, along with a new signaling system that had been implemented in 1951. It gave it the second station to be modernized, the first being York in the early 1950s by British Railways. Its interiors look the same, however with new modern aspects to be implemented into the station since its rebuild in the late 1940s. It would receive a makeover in the early 2000s, with newer, safer, and more modern aspects to be implemented. The original 1910 station is still with us today. Number 8. After its withdrawal in 1958, Number 1436 was sold to a private owner who lived in Moragambe in Lancaster. He would operate trains at the Moragambe along with his 4 auto coaches and would head to his Havens port to operate services towards Lancaster and then back. It wasn't until the steam ban in 1967 where Oliver was withdrawn for the second time. He would later meet a toad brakeman who told him about a sanctuary known as the Island of Sodor. They were made their escape the very next day. However, he ran on a field just outside of Barrow-in-Furness and was soon taken to a scrapyard in Vickerstown, where Douglas saved him, and the rest is history. The owner, who had sadly passed away in the age of 93 in 2008. Number 9. The Hardwick Pullman was the first ever Pullman service to operate on the island of Sodor, which made its debut on the 20th of July, 1889. It would start at Teignmouth, then make its non-stop run towards Osborough, before finally terminating at Hardwick. The service was very popular, and soon, by the early 20s and 30s, more Pullmans were introduced until the dieselization era, where the last of the Pullmans would be withdrawn by 1972. However, in the mid-2000s, the Hardwick Pullman was restored and soon put into operations, and it still operates today. Number 10. For my final headcount to show on this video that I had, the Northwestern region had a few BR standard locomotives to operate on the island of Sodor. These include the Class 2 tank, the Class 04 moguls and 10-wheelers, the standard Class 5s, and the standard Class 9 freight engines, as well as a few WDX Austerity 280s and 210Os. The other BS standards include the Class 02 MTs and the Class 04 tank engines. They would operate until the 1960s where they'd be withdrawn and scrapped. However, the BR standards of Sodor are still operational by the 1968 Act and is still operational by the Northwestern Railway today as of 2023. And we're pretty much done. I hope you enjoyed this little rambling thing that I just randomly decided to make. And also, if Fireporter sees this, I'm not trying to rip you off, okay? I'm just inspired by you, okay? Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.